Hello, welcome to Team Fortress TV. Tonight we have a great Premiership game for you on the cards. It's going to be CP Logjam, CP Snakewater, eShock Esports versus SUAVE. With me to cast this is kaidus on the microphone and Dashner on the camera. kaidus, how are you doing, man?
Pretty great. Your introduction was just excellent. I'm really excited now.
On point. Was that a brilliant introduction? It wasn't quite admirable style because I forgot to mention that it is indeed season 20 powered by TT Esports, the Premiership division. There you go, week 4 fixture. So we're halfway through the season now, or just over halfway. SUAVE looking like they're doing pretty well, somewhere around the head of the table. eShock still, they got a map off BK. Was that last week or was that 2 weeks ago? Something like that.
That was last week.
Yeah, it was a bit of an upset. eShock, they would really be pulling an upset if they managed to get into the playoffs by the end of the season. But they're the kind of team that can take points off these 4 top teams if they're not playing carefully and are not playing at their best. And SUAVE, at the moment, would you agree with me, is looking a little bit vulnerable for the picking?
SUAVE vulnerable. I can't really put it one way or the other, to be honest. I haven't seen a lot of them, so that kind of, that lens leads me toward the idea they probably are a bit vulnerable, because these are maps like, well, Logjam at least is quite unfamiliar for everyone, really. So like, it's kind of, these games can come down to like who's practiced the map more rather than who has the best players and the best team overall, because it's kind of like just having the basics down is quite important. So you have to kind of wonder how much they've played and how much they know about the map, especially with like numlocked and Nox coming back after some time out.
Yeah, that's very true. I wonder how much they'll have practiced Logjam and whether that'll really come into it. What was the map actually that eShock took? It was Gullywash, wasn't it? And they got beaten on Logjam. So it's not like eShock are some Logjam experts that are gonna smash SUAVE on the map. But as you say, definitely there is potential for an upset here, even though you might pick SUAVE as the favourites. It would be a good idea before we go into the server and have a look at these guys as they mess about in warm-up if we went through some stats beforehand, because Gentleman John has set us up with some delicious stats to look at here. So if we compare the SUAVE team against the eShock team, just to start it off, have you got that open there, kaidus? Can you see? Excellent. And dashner, so it's up on the stream as well. So just having a look here at the general statistical differences between them all, it does seem like, although you might be expecting the SUAVE scouts to really be decimating droso, and well, I suppose we should mention as well that it's not Nico playing scout tonight. It is going to be Flip. They're having to use a merc. So
really, that's a big.
Yeah, that's a big.
Really good. That's a big blow.
Yeah, it really is, because Nico, actually, if you looked at his stats, he's at the top of kills and assists per death, the top of kills per death, and he's also really high on damage as well. So he doesn't die very much, gets out a lot of frags and stays at the top of that damage. So he's a big player for the eShock team, and losing him, even though that he's replaced by Flip, who's excellent and was playing for the team when they took that map off BK. Yeah, as you say, I think it'll be a bit of a blow for them.
Yeah, because I think, like, Flip's more than an adequate replacement for any scout in Prem, but I mean, we've seen, like, teams in the past where Droso and Flip have partnered each other, and I always felt like they weren't natural partners, like, they kind of occupy the same space and the same kind of role. Like, Nico is very aggressive, kind of, like, verging on kind of stupid at times, but because of how skilled he is, it really creates a lot for his team. And Flip isn't really that player. Flip was always a lot more comfortable, being a kind of like a very balanced kind of player, staying alive, helping his team, and just supporting where it's needed. It isn't really Nico's game, so it's going to be interesting to see how that change affects them.
Yeah, I've got the Flip versus smzi stats up now just to see how Flip's been playing this season. He has really had a blinder of a season so far. He does have an extra game in there, I think, just because he merked for BK, and he's pulling out some great stats there. Really bossing smzi in everything apart from raw KD, which it does seem like smzi's wanting to stay alive a lot in these engagements. Maybe because he runs sniper quite a bit as well and is staying back, playing a little passive, but I think his role in the team is really just to stay alive and be a bit of a crutch to fall back on if all else goes wrong. He can shepherd Mirelin out of situations, and you can rely on smzi to be the last one alive and clean up frags.
Yeah, I think SUAVE have played some some really slow games this season. Like I didn't get the opportunity to catch them, but I mean, going all the way back to week 1, they had like this 3-0 against, was it C-Play? I think they played in week 1.
Mm.
And like it was a 3-0 over 30 minutes, so that's a kind of a pretty slow game. Like you have to imagine there's a lot of stalemates and sort of things like this can come into like when you look at average deaths and sort of things like that. Kind of dropping now, but 10 is incredibly low for a scout. Like
Yeah, it really is.
For any class really, any combat class, that's quite low, and for a scout especially, that's really low. So it's quite nice. But it is interesting to know. Like Flip has probably played his best game this season for eShock. I mean, he didn't perform incredibly the other night, and he's kind of been very solid, but not really outstanding, I feel like. But when he played with eShock, that was by far his best game. So I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, perhaps he just syncs up with this team a little better. Maybe we'll see his full potential released tonight against SUAVE. That would be really interesting. Another statistic that I want to have a look at, a comparison, is between Dmool and Nox. So Dmool is the standard merc that eShock pull out because Board, obviously, he's banned from the season, but they continue to play with him in PCWs because they're crazy. And they bring Dmool in for all of their officials. So he's going to be heading up against Nox. It's interesting to see how those two compare, Kaidus. What do you see?
Well, I think you kind of have to give the edge to Noxid just on the basis of consistency. I mean, if you're kind of looking at the graphs, I think Dmool has like a really big spike in map number 4, which has kind of upped his average overall. But if you're going to kind of look at what you expect to see from him, it's kind of like the other bars sitting around the kind of the 1.0 or lower KD rather than the 3.0, which is kind of, it's upping his stats like to be kind of quite competitive with Nox's. But I think on a regular basis, he's not performing that well. He's kind of solid. He's doing a good job as a fill-in. I think he's kind of over this direct hit thing now. I don't think they're letting him do that anymore because I think, especially after the win against BK or taking the map, they kind of realized they can actually be quite competitive. So there's no need to have someone kind of goofing around. Whereas I think maybe before they're a bit more light-hearted, in light of the board situation.
Yeah,
but,
very possibly.
I find these stats, I'm really surprised by how close they are. And Nox's stats are very kind of conservative, 12 deaths, 13 kills, which isn't like, again, like the kills isn't great, but the deaths is like, it's suggesting they're playing some slow games, and I guess the kills are they kind of mirror that. But I think we have seen kind of Nox do a lot of like on mids especially, he does tend to not, like he does play quite pockety a lot of the map, but on mids you'll often see him kind of making space and like syncing up with the roamer for various bombs and things like this. So he's not necessarily the guy getting the frags, or like enabling others, it seems like to me, which is probably the best way for him to play it.
Yeah, he does have the reputation of being that pocket who sits at the back with his 300 buff and never really goes anywhere and just might steal a lot of heals. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they play because maps like Logjam and Snakewater, they do tend to favor this, or teams tend to, the way that they play them is by playing them very passively and not really dry. Oh, we have gone live though. Just pause me in the middle of my ramblings because SUAVE versus eShock, the week 4 game. This is the first map, CP Logjam, and we have gone live with some Premiership action. Numlocked to mid. He's exchanging a little bit of damage. Actually, every stick is missed, but Mike is in with the big bomb onto Hidan. He's in no man's land here, though. Just rides a load of damage all the way back, but he really hasn't done anything there, Mike, with his fast aggression. They're all clumped up on that left-hand side. Dagon now goes in, gets a nice double kill onto Mirelin and smzi. Hidan follows up with a frag. Only Droso gone down so far, but Mike picks up a frag on the aggressive Dagon, and Kyler's got a 2k as well. Is he finishing off that little piece of aggression before it can go any further? And flippin' Izzy. The last one's surviving, but at least they kept their med alive there, and so they will have the Uber advantage to be able to push second with.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting mid. Like I expected kind of to see SUAVE playing quite far back on this mid, but Numlock was really willing to go forward. Like Mike did the fast bomb, Numlock was reasonably fast. I expected him to be really slow, given his kind of history of rollouts and the fact he doesn't know this map. But they took a lot of early space, but then they kind of, Numlock got on the point and Mike got in, and they realized we're doing nothing here, and they kind of Mike jumped back and ended up like they just ended up clumped in their corner. Like no one really followed up on the initial space they took.
It was really weird as well because Mike landed on the house but couldn't find any damage. He didn't really go for Hidan and he didn't put any damage in choke. He just kind of stood there. I think he was just wondering where everybody was perhaps. But we see Dmool now getting aggressive in that lower lobby area. Puts out a little bit of damage but not enough to get a frag from it, and he's gone down himself. They're taking the Uber in. Numlock goes down immediately, so that's going to open up a ton of choke points. Dmool trying to get the frag onto Mike, but he's escaped. And maybe they've extended a little too far with this Uber charge here. Izzy down to 16 health, does go down. Dmool down as well, along with Hidan. This is a car crash situation, but they have got the Uber charge out of Mirelin. if they can back up here and possibly defend the Spire when they have the height advantage, wait for that Izzy and Hidan spawn, they might be in a semi-decent situation.
Droso is
they just
hiding lower
extended
left.
too
They're
far.
pushing up main right now. Droso's hiding lower left. He's going lower left now for the backup. I don't think anyone's seen him. If it, Mike's waiting for him and sneaky, and he's going to get cleaned up, I think, yep. But he has brought players back, like, oh, Dagon died, I didn't see that. I was going to say they have the chance to contest 2 now with these players still on last, but with Dagon down as well, they don't really have a chance. And Hidan's in a bit of trouble now. He needs to just about gets out of choke, and he's going to be okay.
He is, but this is an opportunity for SUAVE to push forward. Dagon, it looks like he was thinking about switching over to Sniper there, but with the speed that SUAVE are pushing forwards, Nox going in for a bomb, trying to get some damage onto them, but that little ramp exit, very difficult to hit if you're trying to spam targets out, so everybody on eShock stays fairly healthy. They do have a 25% advantage. They know that they have the advantage, but it's so difficult to get fast aggressively into them when eShock is giving up so much room. They're really valuing getting their Uber charge here. They don't care how much ground they have to give up. Izzy on 99% is going to finally get it, and we're going to have an Uber fight. Numlocked dropped in the middle of the Uber though to Droso, and Emil and Dagon getting aggressive onto Nox, forcing him out. Kyler's on the right hand side as well. This is a bit of a scrappy fight here, but I can't tell who's going to come out on top in the end.
Really looking like eShock are going to take the advantage here with Numlocked down and the soldier behind. They just need to clean up the soldier, like not worry too much about the forward players. Mike's gone down and smzi. Numlock's just respawned, so they're only 3 on mid. Just to go back to that situation, Dagon was actually hiding in log room, so when the Ubers were traded, he came in from behind them and just ended up sandwiching them, so they got really split with their attention and they had to like just get out as soon as they could. eShock contesting on mid, we're still 2 down. They should take this quite comfortably. They just need to keep their medic alive and just take space slowly. Like the numbers is going to do it for them. They don't really have to do much else other than not make grand errors. Tyler goes down somewhere, I didn't see that, but that's going to help them as they try and get onto 2. They could really push off with some momentum here.
They could indeed. They're going to be coming forwards through that choke point with the scout pick. Ubers are going to be up for both teams. It looks like they've actually decided to push through log room. That is a very favoured push for a lot of teams, but they brought Hidan in the Uber as well, so a much better Uber here for SUAVE. Nox trying to make something out of it, juggles Izzy up in the air, gets a shot onto the roof which craters Izzy, so they have a pick onto the scout and medic for eShock here. They're just trying to pick up the flankers in cave. They managed to do that with perfection there. smzi picking up Dagon and Nox getting the pick onto Flip, so they're very systematically pushing through them here, destroying everybody that they find. Only Demul and Hidan left alive, and they're just going to have to back out, get some heals from a respawning Izzy and contemplate defending Spire here, but they do have a 50% disadvantage as well. Oh, Dagon's decided to run Sniper.
Yeah,
no, he hasn't. He switched back.
The situation kind of, it goes back to this Uber trade on 2 where eShock tried to push him basically on virtue of that pick. They weren't expecting SUAVE to play so close, so they just kind of took an extra guy thinking they could walk in almost for free, but then Nox took the trade close and bought enough time for the respawns, and they just got like kind of rolled back from there, as we do see SUAVE now just kind of rolling over to taking it for free. Flip still down and Uber nowhere near for eShock. They're going to push in straight away, top right, they're in. The Pyro's there, he's doing some denial, but I think he's not got the greatest setup, but he's actually landed on the fence. He's surfing like a bus. Taking so much time, but Izzy goes down late and I think that's going to seal it. They just need to play discipline now, just get the frag slowly, but Numlock goes down. There's still a hope alive, but no, there's really no chance. There's no chance of this working out now. They just need to play the point and the frags come in.
Yeah, Swat a little too disciplined there to allow the loss of Numlock to affect them too badly. Numlock going in there and getting 2 frags right at the beginning really helped them out, especially Izzy when he was on 70% there. If he'd managed to dodge a bit more and get his supercharge up, but it was a bit of a hard task to accomplish. So our second middle, Hidan arriving slightly faster than Numlock to mid, both of them favouring that choke rollout, but Hidan this time getting quite a big sticky onto him. Mike going in with a super aggressive bomb, this time dropping down through the house onto Hidan. Oh, doesn't manage to pick him up though. Great defense from Droso and Flip of their Demoman there to pick up Mike, and Nox goes down as well. No soldiers here for SUAVE. Kyler for fun underneath, dueling Droso will pick up that frag. Is he going to go down? Oh, Numlock's gone down to an aggressive Flip in the meantime, but they've traded frags there. 3v3. Mirelin stays alive, but with an Uber disadvantage because I think he had to get out quite a while ago. So I don't know whether Izzy's going to know this, but this would be really tempting if they do know to push really far forwards.
Yeah, Flip was in deep there. A really nice pick by Flip actually to get Numlocked, because Numlock was taking all of the heals. So as soon as Numlock went down, Flip can call for his team that the medic was alone, because like he obviously saw him back out alone. But they do get the force. Mike was in and bombs on choke and gets the force, and Nox actually goes down. That kind of changes things. I was going to say that SUAVE had the opportunity to push back out, but with 2 down, it's really not like a good decision to make. So eShock, they have a decision to make here. Do they go forward and force and play for the force on last, or are they going to sit outside and just try and set up a good hold?
Oh, I really think that they should have gone forward for the force there. They had players that were buffed, they were ready to go in, but they all just chose to sit on Spire instead, and they look like they just want to defend. I would be very surprised if SUAVE don't decide to push here. They have, well, they did have a 70% advantage or even more. So as it slowly ticks away now, only a 50% advantage, and they are facing going up against eShock here with a considerable height disadvantage. Nox going to be leading the Ubercharge, it looks like, on numlocked possibly as they go forwards. They have lost their roamer already. Is that going to oh, is there a back cab? Dagon on the back cab!
Big baby boy!
How did he get that? I didn't see which route he took, but he just juggled Kyler off there. Wow.
He fragged Mike as well, right? That was.
Oh yeah, that was the
pick.
frag. Okay, so he just bullied his way in through the flank, took down one player that was guarding one flanking route, and gets his way in. Roma v Roma. Nice play there by Dagon.
You had to pick a Roma going into this of who was going to outplay who. You'd say Mike, but I mean, that's a pretty huge play.
Absolutely.
1v1ing Mike and then taking the back cab. That's incredible.
Yeah, that's a huge play by him. Dagon as well going aggressive on this first mid, giving Nox the run around as he evades him, but Nox is going to eventually pick up the frag. He's bought his team a bit of space, but Mike now in with the big bomb. He's not really getting any damage out at all there, though. smzi, though, playing off that aggression to pick up the frag onto Droso, and Hidan is so weak in the choke point. Numlocked really wants to chase this, but he's not connected to Mirelin. He's going to try and go in anyway with Nox flanking, but Nox is taking a huge meat shot. Mike, having taken some buffs, he's going to move forward now. Can he get anything done? This is just slow. They're slowly chipping away at the eShock team. I keep seeing players jumping in and expecting a big bundle of damage to be done at once, but that's not what SUAVE are doing here. They're just chipping away, and eShock slowly are forced to give up more and more ground. And they've managed to push it all the way to last here. I think they want to go in. They do. They're taking the Ubercharge through main. 3 seconds on the spawn still for Demul and Flip. And Ubercharge is going to come up, but they're going to get their spawners. This is not going to be a good Uber here for SUAVE. They're just going to have to back out. But now the Uber's out of the situation. Are we going to see a repush?
Interesting to see what they do. I mean, it looks like they're going to probe on left. This is a good decision. This is what I see a lot of teams do. Oh, no, the pick on Mike changes everything. They're going to go back. I think they'll reset and wait for Mike to respawn. It's not like a big enough pick to push out on really for eShock, but it's enough to stop SUAVE wanting to do anything. But I was going to say, they were trying to poke on left. It's quite a good area. Like if you trade top right and then wrap to the left, kind of probe there to see if you can find any overextenders, get some early damage to push off of. But yeah, Mike going down, it's just going to be a reset and everything's going to stabilize. Ubers are going to be rebuilt, and I imagine we'll see something kind of similar happen again. They'll trade from somewhere, and then Nox will take the heal somewhere, like top left, or just poke.
Yeah, Droso's actually running sniper on the top left from the defender's perspective now. He's going really far forwards. Might be a bit of an overextension, might be a pick, but he actually backs off now, choosing a different angle to peek at, as both of the soldiers from SUAVE shut that down. But it's Kyler for fun has just run onto the point through Sneaky, I think, and it's got a fair amount of cap time on that last point. It caps so incredibly quickly. It's the same speed as Badlands, but with numlocked down as well there, SUAVE suddenly on the back foot, and eShock want to push with that player advantage that they have. An Uber exchanged in that top left. Seems like a better Uber for Nox. Demul so weak, but Nox can't quite find the frag. He will find the frag on Droso, however, who was overextending quite stupidly in lower lobby there. Droso, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm a bit concerned with the way eShock are opting to play on last. They don't have anyone playing top right. Like, you see the grate in the floor on top right. Like, it's a really good position for a Roma to stand, because he can spam top right and keep an eye on Sneaky and see what happens. We do have a bomb from Nox. Nox is in. He's making space for his team. So much attention on Nox. It's like top right is completely open for SUAVE to walk in, but I think they don't want to do it. Like when Nox goes down, they just hadn't quite taken enough position. The follow up a little bit too slow there, but they do find Droso on the overextend. This could open it up for the repush.
They definitely could. The Ubers are going to be in the situation in 10 seconds though, and they might just wait for that to happen. They did have an opportunity there to dry push it. They really focused Izzy quite hard. smzi again running in through that unprotected Sneaky. Mike bombs in. Kyler on the point. Izzy's going to pop his Uber in order to defend. Mirelin's going to pop to save Kyler for fun there. And we have an Uber on last. Unfortunately, Mirelin's Uber not quite good enough to be able to stay in on that last point. But now the Ubers are out of the situation. Have they realised that right side is completely undefended here? eShock doing a poor attempt at that, just stacking everybody on that top left. Droso now covering that Sneaky area, just trying to push out, seeing what he can... seeing what intelligence he can gather about where SUAVE are playing and where they might be pushing. But I'm kind of disappointed that they're not just trying to play a little more aggressive here, SUAVE, and just overwhelm that right hand side and take a bit of position early. This might actually be what they're doing now, is their Uber's only on 50%, but they're really looking like they want to poke.
Yeah, I mean, Dagon is kind of going there every now and then, but he kind of goes away as soon as there's pressure, so it really opens up Sneaky. Like, with the two doors on that side, there's so much space that you can, like, kind of work plays in synchronization. Mike jumps in, but not really anything coming from it. There's a pyro on top right now, so that's going to shut down any repush. Numlocked gets picked off by Demul, so really, this is the best opportunity eShock have had for about 3 minutes to push. I think they're going to have to try and take it with 2 down. Demo going forward, the early pop, it's not looking too good for them actually. Not Mirelin now popping, and the respawns are coming in 2. Nox has enough to chase them back to last, but I don't think he's going to commit. He knows the spawns aren't quite with him yet, so he's just going to stabilize, shuts down the push from eShock, but not really able to take anything more from it. But Demo needs to be careful now. He might get overwhelmed, but no, Hidan's showing up, and they're actually going to overwhelm SUAVE on top right. They're still trying to push, but I'm not sure about this. Kyler for Fun is actually on Spy. I'm not sure where he is.
I'm watching him now as he goes in through that bottom left. SUAVE's job here is just to defend second as Kyler goes for the back cap. I think he's going to be playing against Dagon on last. He is a pyro, Dagon, so this is a prime opportunity for Kyler to whip out the revolver and get the frag, but he just can't hit Dagon for enough damage. Nobody else from eShock's going back because they're confident that they're going to get Spire there.
Yeah, I was going to say, in the meantime on 2, SUAVE gave away quite a few frags just trying to delay the Spire. They did a good job delaying it, but they kind of traded numbers for it in the end, so with the back cap failing, it puts eShock in a decent position. I don't think they know Mirelin hasn't built thoroughly, or they probably would be trying to push now, especially with the Spy kind of doing nothing. Kyler's going to go down in cave to 2 scouts unless something ridiculous happens. They finally get the frag, not too clinical, but they get there in the end, and probably a reset now, I think.
Yeah, I think Kyler needs some spy mentoring. Just hit me up anytime you like, son, because that play was not deserving of our views. However, Dagon has pushed out on Pyro here. I had not noticed that. He's running that degreaser, playing with the combo. And is this a new meta? He's not running the flare gun actually, he's running the shotgun, so that does allow him to put out a little more consistent damage, but still that is going to put them at a big disadvantage I think in these situations. The scouts can just run havoc around here. I don't know why they're feeding him rockets, they just need to put those 2 scouts onto him and he will go down so quickly. Here, smzi goes in, but unfortunately gets taken down by Flip. The scouts not too good at running through those tight choke points, but numlocked picks up the frag onto Demo. That's going to open things out a little bit. Dagon's played really aggressively into them, and he's got them quite weak though. He does go down to a rocket from Nox. That's risky business from Rox feeding him rockets, but it does work out that time for them. 3 down for eShock, and SUAVE in a good position to move forward here, but Mirelin's so weak.
He's weak and he's disconnected, which is kind of costing him time in the Uber. Like, eShock had dropped quite far behind, but it's going to kind of start to even out now. I really think Dagon had something going there. Like, if he just had a bit more follow-up, maybe like a soldier or a scout just coming in from the Haunter area, as I'm calling it, like the little extra door on log room. If someone had just gone through there while he'd taken all the attention, they could have really like crushed them, I think, because he'd done so much damage and distraction and just kind of juggled their position. But they are walking in now, and they're getting in really comfortably. They haven't had to pop. They're taking position on 2. It's going to be a real struggle for eShock to do anything here. Dagon jumps in, he does force. That's a cheap force, to be honest. Mirelin was quite healthy, numlocked was quite healthy. Not the best Uber and Mirelin will do today by any means, but they're trying to contest too. eShock have popped out top left, they've saved the point, but they need to get frags now. They've kind of put themselves in the middle, like SUAVE all around them. They have to trade
They've
something
left
for
out
this.
their team on left as well, droso and Flip. Actually, still fairly healthy, but there was an opportunity there for Nox just to crush them both. Kyler and smzi both going down, so it's the scouts from SUAVE that have actually been dropped, and it seems like that push from eShock's going to be pretty successful. Hidan now dueling with Nox. Nox is going to whip out his shotgun and get the frag there, but droso's going to pistol down Mirelin and finish up both of the frags on the combo, so only Kyler and Mike left alive. The respawners from
They're making
SUAVE.
a big mistake. No one's gone to Izzy to build. He should have a 30%, 40% advantage building, but he's not. He's on 0%. His team have just gone forward like nonsense, to be honest. They're doing nothing with themselves. It's a huge, huge blunder. He's on 3% with Mirelin on a 3-second respawn time. And that's a real missed opportunity, because these guys going forward, Droso and Dagon or whoever it is, they're not achieving anything. Like, they didn't have numbers to push mid with. They've just traded like a huge Uber advantage for absolutely nothing.
Do you think this will force SUAVE to play a little more passive though? Will they assume that Izzy's got a large advantage and just play like pussies because of it?
Yeah, they have to assume that they have an advantage, but I think eShock aren't going to try and play it. I mean, SUAVE might even try and push before like in their minds eShock are going to get Uber, which is exactly what they're going to try and do, and it could work into their favor just because they have so much more time than they think they do.
Yeah, they tried to poke through choke there, but they found it locked off a little too well. They might look like they're rotating through the log room, or maybe just content to hold mid, but they really are poking a lot more than eShock are. They really want to get aggressive, really want to get their teeth into the game, whereas eShock happy to sit back a little more passively and make the fight, make SUAVE bring the fight to them. The Uber fight now going to happen around that choke point. smzi getting the hell out of there as he leaves the single Uber onto Nox. This seems to be what SUAVE have got planned for most of their Ubers. Just Nox going in there, trying to get as much damage as he possibly can, and then players swarming in afterwards. Dagon poised for a nice flank here from Cave. He's going to get it onto Mirelin, knocks him down to 11 HP, 5 HP. Mirelin finally goes down to a spam rocket by Demo, but they have lost the frags on both of the soldiers here from eShock, and it's an absolute wipe here if they manage to pick up Izzy. Oh, Izzy, the escape! What a serve there from the Sticky.
Cheeky bugger.
Oh, but Numlock's actually chasing. Oh, no. Droso turns around and just has a look at Numlocked and says, go on, I dare you, come through that shutter door. You're going to die as soon as you do. Numlock wisely backs off, and they're going to have a 50% advantage here. Izzy, but do you think they're going to push with it?
I don't think so. Again, it's one of these when no one actually met Mirelin, because only Mirelin went down in that entire exchange. They lost one guy for 5, did a SUAVE. So Mirelin was spawning alone, so this advantage is actually 50. In eShock's minds, it's probably more like 20 or 30, so I don't think they're going to risk it. But then again, I wouldn't have expected them to push, to take that Uber trade on choke before, so I'm not sure they're timing Ubers very well today, because like, I don't think Izzy factored in the fact that he didn't build, and so his advantage was actually very minuscule. I'm not sure, because that's not the kind of trade I expect eShock to take, and it didn't work for them at all. It looked like they weren't really expecting SUAVE to be set up like that with Uber and so close to choke. So I don't know, I don't think they're timing great, but I think they're smart enough to not push out on this one and just kind of wait for the reset.
Same thing again from SUAVE here as they bomb in with Mike to try and get a force out. Nox comes in as well, and they have got the force out of Izzy. Both of their soldiers go down. This is going to prompt the push out of eShock. They have to push. They have to try and get something done with their Uber charge. But as they get into lower lobby, it looks like they've realised that they're not really going to get anything done. Demo goes in for the bomb, but Mirelin just juking around on that fence so nicely. Oh, Droso comes in from behind though. Great work, as they thought that the risk had been negated as they took down Demo, but Droso just sneaks in and forces that Uber charge. Demo and Droso are going to spawn in 5 seconds if they can hold off that long. Flip gets a frag on the medic, and that's going to help them out, but only Hidan and Izzy left alive. If they can hold on for another second, they're going to get spawns in, but the point caps so quickly, and SUAVE clever to play the point there right at the end. With only Hidan and Izzy left alive, they're going to bring the score to 2-1.
It's all coming back to this right side again, though. Like, Mike gets in completely for free. Like, Dagon, I think he was playing sneaky at that time, so they're nervous about sneaky, they're nervous about top right. They just don't realise that one guy can watch both from the same spot and have complete control over it. So it's kind of a blunder from them on his last holds at the moment. Another really early bomb from Mike puts a lot of damage onto Dagon, onto Hidan, forces him back into choke, and it looks like SUAVE might try and take ground off of this. Dagon's in completely alone, Hidan not able to follow him up courtesy of Mike's bomb, and the numbers are in their favour, but just... what's their bloody name? Beemo indeed takes down Mirelin with the help of Flip, and they're actually turning it around in this mid. A lot of red help, they need to just heal up, someone needs to get to Izzy and just take his beam. But they're getting the frags, but this is going really close. They are going to clean it up and claim mid in the end, but it was really touch and go there for a moment. Izzy was disconnected, and I think, I'd say, I don't know, 5 out of 6 players still alive were in red health. The medic advantage should have meant more, but the disconnection made it really tough for them.
Yeah, I think the advantage there for eShock was that they had both of their scouts alive at the end of the fight, whereas Mike and Numlocked, both on weak health, really don't have that mobility that the scouts do. Scouts not relying on health, obviously, to move around the map, whereas Numlocked and Mike really limited as to what they can do on low HP. smzi's decided to pick up the defensive sniper and Nox on heavy. smzi's going to be watching that, well, everywhere basically, but especially that top right hand area. SUAVE not making the same mistakes as eShock here, making sure that they've got that top right hand side locked down. Numlocked holding on the top right with Stickies on the left. They do Uber in now, Demo leading the Uber charge. SUAVE a little bunched up here on the top right hand side, but they drop to the point, and the Uber charge actually forced, but they might well get the frags here.
I was going to say, that was very, very lucky that Uber came in exactly when it did. Numlocked stickied 4 stickies on the point, but it was not enough. Like, Flip just ran under them all the way to the back of point, and like everyone had to drop to the point to stop him. The stickies did nothing. I don't think they did a single point of damage to Flip. So everyone had to drop to the point, but luckily the Uber came in just at the right moment, so all these players that are normally like, you know, easy clean up frags on the floor, they were just invulnerable, you know. That kind of helps.
Demo has actually switched over to the direct hit and will be, looks like he's going to try that out as a strategy.
Dagon on spy as well.
So really mixing things up here. Dagon, yeah, just hiding around that top right hand side. He sees Mirelin, he sees the whole of the SUAVE team really here. Mirelin's Uber is going to be ticking up to 100% as Dagon creeps in from behind, completely cloaked. Is now going to decloak and move, but they're going pretty quickly down cave here. smzi, he sees smzi's back, he actually decides to change targets at the last minute, but then doesn't. Comes up behind Mirelin, but Mirelin's already used. He gets the frag on Kaida anyway, and that's worth it really as a spy to be able to take out the scout in that situation when they've already forced the Uber is the best thing he could have hoped for. SUAVE here swarming around that spire area, but they haven't got... they are going to be able to get the cap time, but Mirelin has gone down in the midst of this, and the counter Uber now going to come out from eShock, and they haven't even picked up Spire and SUAVE. They were trying to get some cap time, but it just wasn't working out for them, and they knew that they were going to get fragged if they tried to commit to the cap. Just deciding to prioritize their lives above the capture there, but that's going to mean that they all get back spawns, the respawning players. Mirelin's so far away from this fight, whereas Izzy's pumping heals into all of his players.
Yeah, Hidan, like, he must have thought he found a treasure trove as he came out top left onto 2 there. He just found 3 guys capping Spire, no one looking at him. Almost got dropped from the Uber actually, but luckily Izzy showed up sometimes to save him, but he managed to do a lot of damage, block the Spire, and just kind of shattered any hope SUAVE had left of claiming CP2 there. So they do have a 20% advantage and like some momentum to work with, not really now. SUAVE have had time to set themselves up, but they're holding very forward. I'm not sure they've factored in that there's like an Uber advantage in play here, but not the greatest building, but numlocked goes down, that's going to open everything up. Flip does go down as well, but I mean, no demo in a situation, you can walk in for free basically.
Yeah, they can if they were of a mind to, and there is an Uber advantage in play here, as you say, 20%. Oh, nice air shot there from Mike onto Demo to deny that, but Mike goes down to the aggression from the other soldier, Dagon of eShock. So the Roma down here, and the Uber advantage has actually disappeared. So they look like they still want to play really aggressively here. Possibly they think the Uber advantage is slightly more than it actually is, or maybe they just want to get aggressive with the Uber charge. They're going through this top left-hand area, the counter Uber comes out. The counter Uber actually being applied to the Pyro there as he completely stunts the Uber charge, but doesn't get the frag on Demo. And Hidan's actually just sneaking onto the point. He gets his stickies onto Mirelin. He gets the pipe frag and he gets the point. Oh, he just snuck in there through that sneaky area and nobody saw him. He pushed in the exact moment that the entirety of SUAVE pushed in top right as well. He just rotated around them, sticking himself on the point, and a pill onto Mirelin seals the deal. 2-2 the score.
A really good job he did, because that was an absolute car crash of a push. I don't really know what their plan was. I can't even imagine. Maybe they thought they had advantage or something. But Mike, again, he's showing up early. He's bombing the point, but he's not actually going for Hidan now. He's just playing position on the point, keeping them back, keeping them pinned in, allowing his teammates to come take some ground forward. A big bomb from Dagon finds numlocked, but not yet. Does take the frag, and he's on Mirelin as well. But Mirelin with one saw, Uber advantage down play for Mirelin if he can survive in this situation. But he's going to have to back out. A lot of position for eShock on the point. But
Mike's coming in behind. Mike's got. Izzy in his sights. Oh, what a shot! MGE Mike on the scene takes down Izzy, and that's going to swing the momentum completely in SUAVE's favor. They have a player advantage, they have that Uber advantage and the health as well, so they're just going to be rolling in as soon as they've got enough players to defend their medics, so that they don't want a cheap force here as they enter mid, but there's nobody really to force them. Dagon is waiting. Oh yeah, Dagon's
he's going to get the shot. He's going to get the shot. He takes it. He hits him.
Oh my god. The Uber drop.
The only fortunate thing about this Mike shot onto Izzy was that it happened early enough that they could respawn a fitting class for the situation. In this situation, that was a sniper.
Did you see that?
I did not. Describe me.
Demo just juggled. Oh my god, he juggled. Who even was it? It was Nox. He juggles him up with an initial rocket, slams him with an air shot, and slams him with another air shot. Wow, he spanked Nox there. Huge plays by Demo.
I think they call that the alley-oop. I could be wrong though.
They do indeed. Yeah, I'm just in shock there for a second. Dagon's still running sniper. They have a 50% advantage. That's not really what you want when you're getting ready to push into last. They've already had enough failed pushes. Unless he really hits a nice shot here in the push itself, or gets a pick beforehand, they're going to be at a bit of a disadvantage. But they do have the super advantage to work with. They should be able to get the frags.
There's no pyro in play. It's really uncommon you see the no pyro because the shutter door is so powerful if you let them in there. But they pushed in top right. Hidan's gone down. That's a kind of a real blow as they do have point presence. They have everyone drop to the point, but with no demo, it means absolutely nothing. It's a complete wrong play to make when your demo goes down. But they do find Mirelin. It's kind of the saving grace. Izzy has survived, but I'm not sure he's going to make it out. I really doubt he's going to make it out. No, there's a soldier on him. He hasn't got a hope in hell. Mike takes him down very comfortably, but at least Mirelin went down there, so they're not going to get rolled over like multiple points. They're just going to lose CP2 here. But actually, if Izzy's not, what's his name? Izzy's not going to get forward spawn, but theory, Mirelin's going to spawn now. They're not going to get heals in time, like Izzy will spawn in 5 seconds, and they should be able to reposition themselves on mid just in time. But with an Uber advantage for Mirelin now, they could be looking at what do they call it? The Heartbreaker.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah, so it's a 20%, maybe even 25% advantage here for Mirelin. If they build it fast, they would have an advantage, but it looks like they've just decided to dry push in. Dagan hiding on that house is going to be able to bomb onto them. He's trying to get in, just goes for the scout instead because he couldn't really spot Mirelin hiding in that cave area. The aggression here from SUAVE not particularly paying off. 3 of their players already down, and this is giving eShock a great opportunity to push in with only 3.5 minutes remaining. Every little play like this, you don't really expect the risky plays to be coming out at the end of a map where it's 2-2. With everything to lose here, SUAVE, they have been bullied back to their last point. They still have this 25% advantage, but Demo's going to go in. Why have they committed Izzy to this? They realise that they have a disadvantage. Izzy was in such a dangerous position there, but it looks like smzi doesn't want to push. For some reason, the SUAVE players didn't want to extend there to try and get the frag on Izzy, even though they knew that they had an advantage. And now Izzy, full ubercharge, they didn't get anywhere near him. And as soon as they get their players up, they'll just be able to push. Does this prompt the aggression out of SUAVE? Looks like it does actually, as they go onto that second point and get the Uber out of Izzy, but they lose Nox and smzi in return. Can they do this with the 6-on-4 situation? It was a bit of a weak Uber from Izzy. He had to pop so far away, but Droso in from that main area as the entirety of the SUAVE team are focusing on top right. Flip comes in from the top left as well. Mike desperately trying to hit some direct onto these scouts. Flip dies to the stickies. Demo's going to come in now and try and play on the point. Numlock's going to go down to the fall damage. No, 1 HP. Can Droso get the frag? He does actually get the frag onto Numlock, but only Izzy left alive. Nobody to capitalise on that because they all just sacrificed their lives in their way too quick to disregard their own lives and just throw their bodies onto the point. And Mirelin now sitting with a comfortable 75% advantage, and this is the opportunity for SUAVE just to play very slowly, methodically, kill everybody as they come forward, which they now do. They pop up their overcharge and destroy Izzy. Why were they playing so aggressive there?
They've lost their heads, man. They failed this push on last, and you know how the comms get in these situations. Everyone's yelling, everyone's kind of just calling everything at once, and in the end, nothing's actually coming through. You don't play the game you normally play, and you find yourself in a world of trouble as they do now. They're looking at a full wipe here as Flips. Flips actually survived, but he's all the way behind. He's not going to be able to do anything from that position, but that push on last, that was the throw. They had that, like... They had position, but I don't think Flip realised that he was standing on stickies. I don't think he actually went to sack for the point on last.
Yeah,
just ended up walking on the stickies.
Yeah.
But that changed everything. It meant like
Dagan's in for a big bomb. Can he get the frag? No, he's whiffed all of his rockets and doesn't manage to pick it up on Mirelin. That would have been crucial there if he managed to pick up the frag.
They're throwing bodies for no reason. This is like in this situation with 1 minute left. Like CP2 was theirs. Like best case scenario, you force them, but if you force them, you still don't have a chance to push and take the round. So you should give them CP2, have a turtle on last, get a sentry, get a pyro, get a heavy, get all of these things, but they have none of it. They have 1 pyro as the Uber comes in on last now, and he has a hell of a lot of work to do. I don't think they're going to be able to do anything about this. It's out on the point. Hidan has no position to contest. He's going down. There's 3 down now. Still 6, 5 in fact for eShock, but there's actually some frags, but I don't think there's no hope. There's no hope.
Only those are left alive. They did. They threw it. With 40 seconds remaining, there's no hope for another round here. GG's being called in chat, and SUAVE pick it up, but it was so close. If eShock had just played a little smarter just at the end there, even if they had played the same as they'd been played throughout the entirety of the rest of the map, this could well have been going to a golden cap, and they would have picked up at least 1 point out of the fixture, but as it is, they lose them all. All 3 points going to SUAVE here in our first map, CP Logjam, and they'll be thanking their lucky stars that eShock was so keen to lose.
Yeah, the writing was on the wall. If you remember this, when they went for the force on last, and Izzy, like they committed Izzy so deep. I mean, they were trying to throw from that moment on. It seemed like, but they got away with it. Like they didn't either. SUAVE didn't time the Ubers properly and didn't realize Izzy hadn't got it yet, or they were just like thinking, let's not. For the love of God, let's not lose this round. But they got away with that and engineered a terrific situation for them. And even as the push came in, they still had a chance. Like. They had position and like even numbers. It was just Flip standing on those stickies. I think it's harsh to say it was Flip's fault, but I mean, if that hadn't happened, I would be really surprised if they hadn't taken the cap there. Just because the situation was what it was.
Yeah, and then in the just after that, when Mirelin had his Uber advantage and they were moving forward, and Mirelin had the Uber, Izzy again commits to another piece of aggression from eShock, where if they're playing aggressively, it has to be just to get the Uber force out, and they lose 1 player, 2 players max, but they have to keep Izzy alive, and he's committing, but you get the feeling that it's not Izzy's fault. Like I get the feeling that their entire team just thought they could take a team fight and it would just be even. or they would possibly have an advantage, but they're just not factoring in these uber charges, and the entirety of SUAVE caught them out multiple times there as Izzy was just in too deep.
I mean, if you're looking at the last 2 minutes, there was the throw where Izzy almost lost his life on last. There was the throw as they pushed. There was the throw as they defended CP2, and the throw as they defended CP4 as SUAVE pushing out of last, and the throw as they defended CP2, throwing 2 bodies away for no reason. Like, even if they'd forced Uber there, they would still be 2 down, and they would still be looking at 6v4 on last with like a full commit coming in from SUAVE. Just horrible decision after horrible decision. Like, they played really well until the final 2 minutes.
Yeah, they really were. It was so close. Do you think it's got to be demoralizing for them to lose right in the final moments of the map there, and to a series of silly mistakes which are going to have negative effects on their comms and their morale? Do you think that's going to follow on into the next map?
I don't think it'll hit them too hard. I mean, I don't think they came into this game expecting anything. I mean, they probably would have hoped and that they would have known it was possible. But to be honest, if I was them, I would just take heart from the fact that they had the opportunity to throw this game. Like, they've kind of proven against this opposition they're more than capable of like standing up to it and threatening to take the map. So I think if they didn't just look at it this way and like just refresh themselves and go in with the same kind of mentality into this map, but a bit more just a bit more kind of cohesion in the final moments.
Yeah.
Because that's really all it was. It was like they played a pretty good game for 28 minutes and just until it really mattered. So
yeah. Just before we go on to the second match, CP Snakewater, I'd just like to take a look at the logs on Logjam. Nox, top damage with 348 damage per minute there, 10k damage, 27 kills, 15 deaths. Really a bit of a pillar for his team that they can all rely on there. Getting a lot of kills, keeping himself alive, and putting out a ton of damage. And then numlocked following it up just below that with 9k, and then Mike just below that with 9k. So all of the heavies playing really well from SUAVE. Unfortunately, their scouts sat right at the bottom there doing very little damage, but they did have a fair amount of frags, so playing their classes well probably. I struggle to see from the logs how eShock were able to really compete with them.
Well, I'm struggling to see the logs at all, so that will phase me out.
Shall I enlighten you? Demul, their pocket, went 13 for 17 and damaged below all of the heavies. Hidan really not putting out very many kills either. I think really it was just Flip keeping them in it. He went 31 for 16.
I have now got the logs open, and what stands out to me, that probably explains it, is the mids. It was 4 mids to eShock and only 1 mid to SUAVE.
Wow, yeah.
So basically they had a lot of work to do, did SUAVE, to get themselves into a competitive situation in each round. They had to come back from losing mid. So
I really did think that Mike's bombs were really doing nothing on... I really thought, actually, that Mike was doing nothing on mids. He was committing really deep and getting a lot of damage onto Hidan on a few of the mids. But it really didn't make much difference because Logjam, it's so big that Hidan wasn't really going to commit at the beginning of the fights anywhere, I don't think. And so by forcing Hidan to back up, he only takes the heals that he would have been taking anyway. I think that was just their plan, for Hidan to take the heals and then push across the point. And by throwing Mike in and really not affecting it in any way, they essentially just lost the opportunity for their Roma to make some space for the mob, do some damage later on in the mid-fight.
Yeah, I mean, I could see Mike's bombs working a bit more if SUAVE were just a bit more willing to commit. I mean, it's not necessarily the way you should play the mid, but I mean, the thing in TF2 is if you're all doing the same thing, you have more chance than if you're kind of playing 2 different strategies with half your team. So if everyone had really just full committed after Mike, they might have had a chance. It would have been a messy mid. But yeah, because I mean, kind of with the medkit situation as well, like Hidan's picking up this medkit on about 46, and the combo's arriving in choke at about 36. So that's a respawn medkit as well. Like by the time the combo's there, whatever damage Hidan has taken can actually be negated by the medkit. So either you get the frag there, or you're kind of doing nothing, like you said, and then Dagon's bomb came in a bit later and just kind of turned things around for them, made the space for them to recontest.
So we are moving on now to our second map, CP Snakewater, in this fixture between eShock and SUAVE. It's the ETF2L Season 20 powered by TT Esports Week 4 fixture, and we have gone live. We just saw SUAVE pick up CP Logjam in a nail biter, so we're hoping that the next map will be just as close. I'm watching Hidan and numlocked on these mid fights. Hidan favouring the choke rollout, whereas numlocked came through. Saw numlocked Just, oh, he gets bombed by Dagon and gets decimated there. Demo picking up a frag on smzi as well, and eShock.
Hit down with an enormous this middle. He did like he controlled numlocked. He did so much damage to one scout and then defended his medic with a pipe onto the soldier. I mean, he really he opened it up for them so much. Like the scout on Hut could do nothing. He could do nothing to shut down the aggression of the enemy team, all because of Hidan taking such early control over these mid.
Big plays there from the eShock heavies. They're going to be moving forward. They have a slight uber advantage, but nothing that they can really work with. But they are going to pick up CP2 for free here. Mike looks like he wants to do something, moving into Cheese, possibly to force the uber charge, but he's going to get attacked by Dagon. He finishes him off very easily there, actually, but Droso's going to pick up the return frag. So 5v5. Tyler looks like he wants to get aggressive. Dagon's in amongst them, though. The cat among the pigeons, and the uber has been forced. It's a terrible uber here from Mirelin, and Izzy not even going to get forced in the midst of this. No, Kyler going really aggressive, but Izzy with the dodges doesn't take a single point of damage. Oh, Kyler, the choke was real there from the Portuguese scout, and with him going down, that's really going to prompt the aggression from eShock on this right-hand side. They lead with both of the scouts. They have to get the frags here. Mirelin goes down instantly. They're trying to focus down this heavy, but he's really not taking any damage. Everyone whiffing their shots at him. They play the point now. smzi goes down. Only 3 players left alive from SUAVE. Kyler for fun and Nox, the last players alive, to try and defend this, but with only Kyler left alive, there's nothing he's going to be able to do. The first round picked up very quickly by eShock, and all of my thoughts about their morale being dampened after the last map completely thrown out the window. They are ready to take this, kaidus.
That was a really convincing round. I thought for a second when they got the force, Hidan and Izzy looked like they didn't really know what they wanted to do, but so when Kyler came on them, I was a bit worried for them, but the dodges and then the ability to push against SUAVE when they had no defensive setup just kind of made it like kind of a dream setup for them, as we are now back on another mid-side show.
We are indeed. It looks like Mike wanted to go aggressive there. Oh, he is. He's going for that bomb, but he has hit no damage. Droso getting onto him. Mike only on 9 health. Nox trying to follow it up, but he as well has really done nothing. Both of the soldiers sandwiched there into kitchen. Sandwiched in kitchen. Droso picks up the frag onto Mike, but a counter frag does come out. It seems like numlocked, though, taking all the position across the point there. Possibly because they were so focused on dealing with both of those soldiers in kitchen. kaidus, what happened on the mid? It seemed so good.
I'm not fully sure, to be honest. I had my eyes on the wrong player. Demo was doing a solid job of dealing out damage onto the scouts, but there was no real coordination between Demo and anyone else from what I saw. I mean, it's probably not the exclusive problem on the middle, but the pocket was completely isolated in the fight, doing damage, but no one able to follow up on it, or him not able to follow up on anyone else's damage. So just a bit of a disconnection, I think. Lack of coordination as the Uber does come in from sliding door. Dagon, Kyler going to trade, but there's still time left, and as Uber Hidan goes down, that's a huge pick. The point is open, and smzi, I thought Sam was going to get on the point for a moment, probably should have, but I think they still have the chance to convert frags here. 1 more, 2 more, 3 more, they're going to take it quite comfortable. They got such a good entry there with the pick onto Hidan that they kind of could do whatever they wanted. They could focus the point, or they could focus the kills. Really up to them. A very convincing round off the back of a convincing round for eShock.
Yeah, so they quickly reply there, SUAVE, with a 1-1. It looks like these rounds are going to be coming thick and fast. There's still 26 minutes remaining. We're 1-1. It's going at quite a bit faster than CP Logjam was progressing. Hidan playing aggressively down that left-hand side, trying to get a bit of damage out. Mike going to jump, but he's just playing it in that kitchen. Nox with the big bomb. Everyone from eShock looking at him. He gets half damage onto Izzy there, and really opens up a fair bit of room for the rest of his team to move forward, but they have already lost numlocked. That's a ton of damage removed from the equation. And so eShock, if they play a little bit passive here, might slowly just be able to bully them out by just that Demoman advantage. smzi goes down, trades with Droso though, so a scout down a piece, but they're still waiting for that numlock spawn, and so they have backed out of the mid fight. The Uber's up for both teams, and I think we will be seeing some aggression, possibly a Roma bomb or something like that, but Mike looks like he wants to get a bit aggressive in that Saw Moon. And Nox peeking as well with the heals on him.
Yeah, just want to go back to that mid for a second. The pick onto numlock was so vital and such an incredible pick for Dagon to get, because Mike decided to play this slow approach into kitchen, and Nox basically jumps forward and creates space for his team. So basically, back to that mid, Mike was out of the equation because his position in kitchen. What he really needed was numlock, putting spam and aggression over the point, just to open up for him to come back in, but it didn't happen. Anyway, we do see Uber's now traded on 2. It's going kind of bad for SUAVE as they, off the back of that trade, they lose their pocket and they're just kind of forced to back out. They have a scout overextended, Droso down to 19 HP, desperately trying to get away. He will manage to get away, but there's damage for SUAVE to push off if they choose to. They are going to try and push from choke now. The scout's in, the bus scout making space. They're going to claim an easy kill onto Dagon, I think.
Versus Hidan! That was a melee battle. They were both on 20 HP, but numlocked comes out on top there. He was so weak, but Hidan just couldn't finish the frag. Oh, poor guy. Numlocked lives to fight another day. Look, noob.
Yeah, the gun really close to taking a frag onto Mirelin in the opposite side of that fight, but it didn't happen. So now we're still on roughly even Ubers. A pick on Nox actually, that could change things here. But with Dagon on sniper and Droso on 3 HP, I think they're not going to have the opportunity to contest. But will they do anything when that situation gets rectified? Looks like they're keeping the sniper, so they're probably just going to play for another pick, even though Nox is down. They are pushing out onto balcony here. This is a strange decision considering they still have the sniper.
That none of their team is with them. They're completely alone. They're isolated. Absolutely. Everybody else from the eShock team is so far away on last. Izzy goes down. Timo goes down. I have no idea what was going through their heads there, because that was an awful Uber to be in. And what is going on with the rest of eShock? Why would they not try and support them in that situation? Because they're never going to hold last with their men and combo. Like, what? That was a car crash.
That was really bad.
That was appalling. That was I haven't seen a worse play in a long time in Premiership. Actually, that I have no idea what was going on there, but some kind of miscommunication.
All I can imagine is Dimmel saw the position that Numlocked and Mirelin had taken up with Nox down and figured it was a good time to trade for him, and just wasn't aware of where his team were. And by the time he'd called what he was doing, he'd already done it, so no one could react.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're back on another mid. Mike with an early bomb. They're achieving absolutely nothing. Cratering on blows himself up on the floor. There's this kind of open for eShock to do what they want at the moment. There is a scout in their kitchen kind of being a nuisance, but I mean, in theory they seem to heal up here and try and go forward, but they lose another frag, they lose their own room, so no soldiers on the field for eShock, as Nox comes in from behind. He's going to get a frag, but he didn't, but he has kind of done enough damage to scare them away. They are going to retreat, the medic's still in tow, but the flip's going down, the chase could be on here. Sam wants to trade, to chase, oh, my word's gone. And Izzy, they split! What are they doing? They're just standing there, they've split! Hidan's gonna go down, but I think he might have just bought enough time for Izzy to go back, and he managed to find his pocket, so they're gonna get out and go to last, but I mean, that went from bad to worse and almost to disastrous for a moment.
They have got an opportunity to defend here, but with Hidan down for the next 7 seconds, this is a perfect opportunity for SUAVE to push in. Nox with a bit of a bomb, and smzi running in, but they haven't even used their Uber yet. Great Uber charge here for SUAVE, but the respawn of Hidan is going to make things a little more sticky, and Mirelin's left out in not a very good place. Demol is onto them, but Mike comes in at the perfect timing just to defend his medic there, and Mirelin slips away like a slippery little eel. How do you catch him? It's just impossible, as Demol found out there, so everything's going to reset a little bit, and eShock will get away with murder there.
Yeah, somehow they've ended up with a 20% advantage. I mean, it's not something they probably know about, but I think on this map with the sliding door, if like eShock are setting up, expecting an Uber trade and nothing before that, then there's enough space really to get in, but oh, Kyler goes down, so there's going to be no like attempted early push from
Numlocked might go down here as well. Dagon getting really aggressive on the top right hand side, actually picks up Nox instead. Nox giving his life so that Numlocked can get out, so they just didn't realise that he was holding on that fence there. eShock going to use this opportunity to poke out and get some room for Flip so that he can snipe, and Mike getting super aggressive, teams up with smzi to get the pick on that sniper, and Mike's got in underneath. There's nobody watching it, and there's only a few players on last. This will be a perfect time to go for Izzy. Izzy now all the way out though. Mike didn't quite get the right time in there, but he's going to go from the top right hand side anyway. He's just going to span them as the rest of the SUAVE team move in from that left hand side. They have got the pick onto Dagon, and 2 respawners now coming in from eShock, so that player advantage just equalised a little there. But another pick onto Droso is going to open this up for SUAVE to really repush after the Ubers. Nox jumps in, gets the frag onto Izzy, and now the collapse comes in from SUAVE. Everybody going down. A great shot there onto Hidan.
Yeah,
full wipe.
Yeah, it kind of goes. You can kind of trace this loss to the situation in the lobby where they pushed up. Like, they had 2 picks and they were pushing up with the sniper to get another kill. I mean, how many kills do you want before you push out? There was no Ubers involved. It's a bit different if you have to have an Uber trade and it's going to, you know, buy time for their respawners, but there was no Ubers. Izzy knew that. They could just literally push out, have Flip to switch to scout, check the flank as he goes, but whatever, another round goes, we are back on mid as Dagon just challenged for the high ground this time. No really early bombs, but a lot of point presence for Hidan, but 2 scouts now rushing him down. Both going to take kind of a lot of damage for their efforts, and it's a real standoff here. No one really committing as Nox actually goes down. Didn't catch that, but Hidan is traded from and Demol's actually gone down, so the standoff not going eShock's way. Kind of a different middle to the ones we've seen. I guess Mike's lack of success in the last mid prompted a different approach for them, but he's coming from the window. I didn't realise Izzy's right below him. He drops over and gets the frag anyway. This is Mike. What am I talking about? He knows exactly what he's doing. cleans them up, and it's another wipe and a full 100% to push last with.
Yeah, that was a great play by Mike, just flanking from the kitchen, reading Izzy and Droso perfectly. They didn't have enough time to get out there. Numlocked jumped in so aggressively, gets onto that tower, hasn't anticipated the direct hit there from Dimul, and smzi takes a big 110 damage from that as well. Numlocked caught in the Uber charge as they move forward here. They haven't really got much damage though onto the E-Shock players. Oh, Izzy down to 9 HP actually. What am I talking about? He does go back, gets his health replenished though, and they're going to have another little fight, but E-Shock's so bunched up in that corner, and the control of the entirety of this last position is just completely in SUAVE's hands. They're going to clean up all of the frags here, only Dagon left alive, and easily take this 4-1. They look like they're running away with it a little bit here, but E-Shock definitely have shown that they have the potential to come back into this.
Yeah. It was a really nice push from SUAVE. I mean, they just pushed the entire length of the map. The fact that mid was so slow allowed them to get some cap time, which meant, you know, they can just roll over the points they were on last before E-Shock are even spawning. But we are back on another mid Sideshow.
Yeah, I'm going to watch the Demo Man here. The battle of the Demo Man. Numlocked moving forwards, getting a bit of damage. He's got a slightly better position at the moment. Dagon going to be bombing in really fast, and Numlocked forced to defend himself, does pick up that frag, and Nox has gone down in return there though. So a soldier down either side. Mirelin's gone down to a great pipe from Hidan. So that's just thrown across the map and picks up the SUAVE medic. That means the heal advantage is firmly in favour of the Frenchies here, but they're so bunched up. I keep seeing this, just that they all taking the same damage, and it just means that SUAVE are able to put out 10 times more damage than the E-Shock counterparts. The Uber charge forced here, and Hidan's not going to be able to do anything with it, and they're just going to be able to collapse here and frag everyone from E-Shock. Dagon though respawns at the perfect time to be able to stunt this a little bit. And he's going to allow Hidan and Izzy to get out just by jumping in there and becoming a bit of a distraction. The death of Dagon not really going to change much there. The Uber's both on 40%, but they have a defensive sniper. SUAVE probably going to take the initiative to push as soon as the Ubers come up. They know, or they will know, that they're running a defensive sniper as soon as they poke a little bit and realise where Droso stood. They have seen that on the left hand side there. They look like they're buffing up on the left hand side to try and get in without using their Uber charge. Nox goes in, takes a bit. Oh, it's Krieg, I didn't see that. Numlocked has the opportunity to dish out big damage and get a few frags. Pick up a frag on Droso whilst another player picks up the frag on Dimul. And they're just so scared of the crits they run into spawns. SUAVE play the 0.51. It's looking complete. It's a complete contrast to the previous map.
Yep, they're just complete, like, they're so comfortable at the moment of SUAVE, like, they have no qualms about just, you know, taking the mid and rolling forward, taking any fight that comes their way as they do so. Yeah, really, really comfortable at the moment. Numlocked, again, rolling out from storeroom as we are on our 7th middle of the game, and potentially the last one if the game follows the current pattern. Dagon going into the kitchen, but takes a lot of damage for his effort. He's going to get swarmed there, Nox cleaning him up. Demul's jumped in behind, but he's doing nothing. This is not looking like a good mid for E-Shock.
No, this is terrible. They have to get out. Hidan and Izzy have to realise that the rest of their team aren't really going to do anything. But they've somehow got the frags.
Yeah.
How did they manage that?
I don't understand that.
I think Hidan... What were they doing there? SUAVE, I think, kind of... Oh my god, and suddenly it flips round and Hidan just not able to get the frag onto Mike cleanly, even though Mike was really weak. And actually trades with him, leaving Izzy all alone to duel Kyler. But Kyler, can he get the frag? Izzy only on 9 health! He can't get it. Dagon defending as Kyler had all the time in the world to get that kill. What I don't understand why he didn't chase him through choke and instead decided to drop from window, but hey ho, he doesn't pick up the frag. In the end, the E-Shock do come out on top. They're going to pick up this mid and they're going to be able to go forward with an Uber charge. Just that flip-flopped so many times.
Yeah, there's such a bizarre sequence of events. I mean, Kyler not getting the frag on Izzy was the least of them in my opinion. Like, how did that mid turn around? Demul was in choke, he was spotted, he was tagged, he was seen, and he achieved nothing. But anyway, the pop has come out from E-Shock. They're chasing lower, but there's no one lower to chase, so I think they're just going to claim the point. They realise it's a bad Uber, and they're wisely just going to focus the soldier behind, clean him up, but no, Mike gets hit down. It's a car crash. There's actually 2 guys behind, and Uber's now up for Mirelin. This could end up really nasty for them. They've still got people behind, but they're looking forward. I don't think E-Shock have a clue what they're doing. I definitely don't have a clue what they're doing. They're in such a bad position at the moment. If SUAVE is up to push, then they're going to get absolutely massacred, but something's slowing them down. Izzy with a frag on Kyler, and what the hell is
I
going on?
don't know what
Sideshow?
SUAVE were doing. They had an opportunity to push there and completely... Oh my god, the pick onto Izzy. Nice play by Mike. But they really had an opportunity to crush eShock there. They had the Ubercharge
They could have
advantage.
capped mid by
and they
now.
could... Yeah, they could have just pushed out from last while they had Kyler and Mike behind, sandwiched them on second, destroyed them and moved forward. It could have been a full wipe. It was the perfect position for SUAVE. But for some reason, Nox just didn't want to move forward. I think he was... Maybe he was worried about a back cap. Maybe... I honestly have no idea what he was worried about, but it just didn't happen for them. Maybe just content to sit there when it's 5-1 up. They don't want to... It wasn't even a risk, though. It was just a perfect opportunity to kill everybody.
They're still not pushing. They've 100% advantage all this time, and they're just doing absolutely nothing with it. And I mean, just going back to that situation again, like the situation
Dagan's
was
in on spy, sorry. But keep going. I'll tell you if he does anything.
the situation was compounded by the fact that eShock, they just didn't make a decision. They had two guys behind, they picked their demo, and then suddenly the combo went forward toward balcony. So they had like literally like a fair fight going on between Mike, Kyler, and whoever the hell went to chase them. But then their combo was split like all the way forward. So they didn't make a decision in that situation. They should just go back and take the frags behind them, give up CP2. But somehow we are now on last with an Uber trade. Oh no, is it
No,
crits?
crits.
It's crits.
Crits comes in, they force the Uber, and they have a spy, but they know that they have a spy. Mike's been shooting rockets everywhere, so they must know that Dagan is on spy. I don't really know how, but Dagan is coming in now. He moves across the top of the point, gets behind, gets the frag onto that heavy there. I think he was using the Diamondback, but doesn't quite get that frag onto Mirelin that he was going for. Mike running the counter spy actually on that right hand side, but they know exactly what he's doing. He's running the Ambassador, so just trying to get a sneaky headshot on Demul or Izzy, who are poking on that right hand side. Izzy does have a sizable advantage here, but SUAVE want to push before he gets it. It is a crit squeak, so they know that he has that advantage, and they know that there is an opportunity for them to push out when Izzy will not have any way of defending himself.
Why don't you just go for your medic? Hidan is just messing around in the complete wrong position. If he'd just gone to Izzy at any point throughout this entire fight, they'd have had 100% crits and the perfect setup on which the crits just like a cluster of bodies
Samzi's
in
in!
front of him.
Samzi's in on the flank! And just takes down Izzy at the same time as Mike takes down Demul. This is terrible here. Hidan goes down as well. Dagan on droso, but it's just an excellent play by SUAVE, really. Reading the fact that Izzy doesn't quite have the crit squeak and the aggression coming out from them was perfectly timed. But yeah, as you say, you just feel frustrated at eShock's lack of ability to read the situation and understand where they should be.
Now Izzy's being spawn camped. Hidan is just completely content to walk out spawn and ditch him, leaving him to be an easy frag by numlocked. Getting himself now cleaned up along with his scout partner, and eShock have just completely collapsed. Like, this is like really disappointing to see. I mean, they're going to SUAVE going to cap last. It's a no-brainer at this point. Uber comes in, but what the bloody hell was that round from both teams? Really, I mean, there was a lot of kind of weird shit going on in that round. Like,
yeah, that was
kind of
so strange. Like,
such a weird
eShock
round.
were trying their hardest to throw, but then SUAVE passed up just a perfect opportunity when it looked like they could have completely wiped them. But who knows? SUAVE, you can't really take too much away from them because they do pick up that second map 6-1.
I mean, for a moment, I thought they were just trying to get their money's worth. I mean, they're not a team that plays a whole lot, so I thought maybe they decided, you know, we're here, we're playing, let's not win in 5 minutes, let's make it a 30-minute game or something. I don't really know what their intention was, but
it was looking so good for
end.
eShock when they were playing Logjam and it got to 1-1 and there was 1 minute remaining and they throw it away and it became 2-1. And then they replied with such a great first mid and great first round. They just stomped them in a minute and really set the pace of the game. It was 1-0 to eShock. They were here. They were ready to take CP Snakewater away from SUAVE, but then they flipped it on their heads and just tried to throw as much as they possibly could.
Yep.
Let's have a look at the logs if I can try and find them. For some reason, logs.tf, whenever there's a cast going on, logs.tf slows down to the pace of a snail. So I'm going to attempt to find the log for this match, as long as there aren't 100 of the people doing the exact same thing.
I think it's just this time of day, everyone's uploading their logs from the PCWs and it kind of just grinds to a halt. But I've actually managed to get them open. Numlocked with the top damage and only 4 deaths for the whole map. Actually, Sam, Mirelin, and Numlocked all on 4 deaths for the whole map. You have to kind of imagine 2 of those came in the very first round. Like they lost mid, they lost last. That's probably 2 deaths apiece. So basically 2 deaths for the rest of the game for all 3 of those players. It's not bad.
Yeah, and smzi just doing a great job. I think you have to give some of the credit to him just doing a great job of
Yeah,
defending
he
everybody
had
there.
at least 4 domes at one point. I didn't
Yeah,
track them. I saw 4. I didn't see if it went up or down from there though.
and top frags on the server, and just doing a great job of being able to defend numlocked and Mirelin and move them around the map and allow them to do a lot of damage and a lot of healing.
Yeah, solid video gaming.
Yeah, great map by him. And kaidus as well did really well, 18 for 8. They just really turned it around from the last game where they weren't really shining. They were doing, they were getting outclassed by Flip really on Logjam, but not doing too badly themselves. But they've really shown a masterclass in how to play Scout this time. smzi and kaidus stomping through there. I'm going to see if I can grab some of the players for interviews. I'm going to drag in... Oh, wait, do I have admin privileges here? I'm going to drag in the 3 players that we've got in the Mumble, Droso, Mirelin, and Sebastian Barton.
Yo!
Hello.
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 Hi.
With Mirelin and numlocked from SUAVE and droso from Team eShock. So I think I'll start with Mirelin and Seb. Congratulations, you pick up the game, but it was looking shaky there on Logjam.
Yeah.
Let's not forget Mike's here.
Is Mike here? Oh, he is. Yeah. My bad. Sorry, I didn't even see you there.
Wow.
Hello, Michael.
I'm not sure I want to talk to you now.
So yeah, what was happening on Logjam? How did it get? How was it so close?
I have no idea what I'm doing on that map.
Does the blame rest solely with you then?
Yeah, it does.
Would you say that you were playing to your potential on mid fights, Mike?
No. I don't know what to do on like logjam mills. I went too soon and tagged the demo, and I can't like come to anything, or I just stay bomb right and the scouts would keep me out.
The thing is, the way I play middles is like, I just spam stickies where I know teams or players tend to come from, and on Logjam I've literally zero idea. So I'm shooting stickies and people aren't coming from there, and then that's just like 3 or 4 stickies gone to waste, and I have to waste time reloading as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You're a bit of a noob back on the scene, aren't you? Unlocked. You haven't seen this map being played very often. It was in season 19. Wait, was it in season 19? Yeah, it was. It was in season 19 and has now been played in season 20. So some teams kind of have a better idea of how to play it than others, but it's over for you guys now, isn't it? That's the last time you have to play Logjam apart from the playoffs, possibly.
Can you move Sam
Yeah, it is though.
I'd love to. Hello, Samuel. How are you doing?
No.
Hello. Droso, what did you feel about Logjam? Flip was having a blinder of a game with you as well.
Yeah, he played pretty well. I think we played all decently, but we just made a few crucial mistakes that costed us the game. Like, yeah, we could really win the game like 3 minutes before the end, but we completely fucked up on last, and then Deegan tried to kill the medic in choke, but apparently like he missed one rocket he shouldn't have missed, and they just teamwalled us to last. So that was a bit heartbreaking, I guess, you know. Like, yeah, it was so close to being a golden cap as well. We just fucked up in the last few minutes.
It really seemed like you guys were playing incredibly well up until the last 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then you just tried to throw as hard as you could.
That's exactly what happened.
It did seem like you were in control right at the end there, and then a few mistakes, and you... Would it be fair to say that the team comms at that point were getting a bit hectic and you just didn't really have a clue? It looked like you didn't have a clue what was happening in the last few minutes of the game.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess you could check out the VOD from Flip and Easy because they both streamed. I don't remember if the comms... It might be, I don't know.
Might have to brush up on our French to decipher what's going on for any of it, though.
Yeah, but, well, if you hear people screaming, you can say directly, even if you don't.
So did that follow through for you onto Snakewater then? What was your morale like? What was your view of taking on SUAVE on Snakewater?
We thought we could win it, but then obviously it didn't go that way.
The first round was looking so good. You guys took it in under 2 minutes. It was a really dominant mid for your team, and then you managed to roll that all the way to last. You smashed them, but then SUAVE just replied with another incredibly quick round of their own, and from there, it just seemed like they were really dominant and in control of the map.
Yeah, we just mostly lost the mid fights over and over again, and you know how hard it is to win rounds when you keep losing the mid fight, you know, because they're in such in a good mood, such momentum. It's really tough to stop them.
Yeah, smzi, you had an incredible game. What was what do you think was the deciding factor on Snakewater?
Like we had a team discussion after Lockjam that we had just way too many players in a combo, like all the time, and Nox was playing like his 2008 really heal-heavy, slow pocket style, and we switched up. He went on gunboats, and that always means that me and Carla just have more freedom and can do more stuff as well. And yeah, it worked well.
Only 4 deaths for you, Mirelin, and Seb for the entirety of the game, all 7 rounds. And as kaidus pointed out to me earlier, 2 of those deaths are going to be on the very first round. So really only 2 deaths in the next 6 rounds. It's just incredible.
Yes, because numlocked is my passion and I'm his passion. We have worked a very great team chemistry, passion chemistry, and we are feeling so well together. So the reason why I or he dies is when we die together, because he's my soul.
Live together, die together.
Live together, die together, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Do you feel the same way, numlocked?
Yeah, what he said.
Protect numlocked.
So, how do you guys, Droso, feel about the playoff race that's currently happening? So, there's the playoffs for this season look like there are only going to be 3 teams again, the same as last season. It's looking very difficult for you to squeeze your way into there as we pass the halfway mark.
As I've already said a couple of times in interviews, this season doesn't matter too much for us. We just take it casually. Like, obviously, we played 2 games with 2 mercs. We can't use our main soldier. We can't use both. So, yeah, we're just happy to play games, keep performing, kind of. And that's all that matters to us. We just want to go to Gamers Assembly and fucking win it. That's all we care about. But I think we're pretty much out for the playoff race, I guess.
To flip that question over to you guys then, Mike, you still have to play against the Nuts and Rollerbladers next week, who are looking fairly decent, barring the map that they lost to eShock. And then in the final week, you're going to be playing against AGP. What do you guys feel like getting into that playoff spot and being able to go through? Because there's only 3 teams going to be in the playoffs this season, and there's 4 real contenders who can all take maps off each other, and it's all going to be incredibly close. There's going to be 1 team that loses out. Is it going to be you guys?
No. We're not that worried about BK. Like, we've played them quite a lot, and yeah, they have beaten us quite a few times in PCWs, but I think come to the official, I'm not actually sure what the maps are. I think we might actually be playing Sunshine versus them, so that'll make a big difference.
Yeah, Sunshine will be top fun.
Yeah.
Do you feel confident on Sunshine?
Yeah, we played it once against eShock when they all off-classed and played Pyro and Spy and shit, so it was good, yeah.
They've been watching your streams.
Good. I wasn't there, I can't comment on that.
Nah, it's fine. No hard feelings, bro.
I wasn't even there, so...
As I said, it's fine.
It sounds fine. It doesn't sound like you're bitter at all. And what about AGP? How do you feel about playing those guys?
They're the best team in ETF2L. They will take it this season.
Yeah, that's the thing. We haven't PCW'd them once at all this season.
Who's AGP?
The French.
It's the Frenchies.
Like the real
it's
Frenchies.
the Tech, T-Mac, Boule,
okay.
etc.
So, yeah. So yeah, we're not really sure, but I think they're a pretty good team, and that could be a close game. So I'm really not. I'm more concerned about playing AGP than BK, probably.
But once it gets to the end of the season, as long as you've secured your victory over the Nuts and Rollerbladers, you should be good for that playoff spot. And at that point, it won't particularly matter apart from your seedings as you go into the playoffs. So maybe a bit of relaxation as it comes to what would have been your most important match in another fixture.
Even more relaxation, really.
Yeah.
Like after every official, we take a 1-week break. I think that's enough relaxation.
So, Kado, do you have any further questions before we wrap this up?
Maybe shoutouts.
I think you've covered it nicely.
Have I covered it? Excellent. Right, go on then. You can have your shoutouts, Mirelin, as long as you don't subject us to any of your terrible jokes.
Oh no, I'm very tired for jokes. I really apologize for that. But I really want to say a shout out for all my friends and all my followers, basically everybody. I love all of you. You are my passion. You're all the best. When I'm playing, once again, I'm going to repeat myself. It's like I'm not playing alone. It's like 100 people standing behind me and cheering up for me. Not even 100, 200, thousands and millions. But let's go for that as well. You're my passion, friends. Oh, and I also, yeah, that's it. Much love.
Shout out to Red Shark.
Shout out to Seb.
Shout out to me.
Shout out to LOL.
Excellent shout-outs. Really got a lot of passion behind your shout-outs there.
So
We used up all our passion that game, man. Honestly.
I'm sure you did. I want to catch the comms. Do you as a team have a lot of passion in your comms? I know Mirelin goes on
So
about it all the
much
time,
passion.
but I feel like maybe he sucked the passion out of you guys, and that's why he has so much of it himself.
I am like an animal when I play TF2.
It's really like hectic and a lot of shouting and yeah. It's good.
Can I also say some other things?
Yeah, you just say all the things, Mirelin. You feel free to say everything.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Just wait
So,
1 second, please. I didn't do my shoutouts yet. So I just want to shout out to Sideshow, I guess, because you're really grown as a caster, and I think you're doing really well. So I just wanted to give you some credit there.
That's
Thanks.
bullshit.
That's so nice.
No, thanks for casting, mate. You're the best.
You've made me blush.
Oh,
and yeah, the last thing which I'd really like to say. Wait, I need to open my blacklist.
Shout out to Tex Mum.
My black.
Okay,
Blacklist?
yeah, there we go.
Is this
Okay,
going to be suitable for the stream?
Yes, it's gonna be amazing. So, okay, people, Goblins and Hafikul are the worst people in the world. Never play with them. they're just fucking the worst people. I'm really sorry for that.
The shout-outs wasn't originally intended to be an opportunity for you to just get on a soapbox and start shit-talking people, but fair enough if that's what you want to do. I think we should cut you off there, though. Thanks for joining us for the Week 4 game of SUAVE against eShock. We'll see you again on Team Fortress TV.
Yeah, see you again on Team Fortress TV.